For the next week, I'm eating nothing but Skyline Chili to see what eating chili on spaghetti for 21 straight meals will do to me. The rules are every meal I have has to have chili in it. I have to eat it 3 times a day, and I can't have anything outside of Skyline Chili besides water and copious amounts of Pepto-Bismol, but that was obvious. So a lot of you watching are probably thinking, what the f is Skyline Chili? And first off, watch your language. But secondly, Skyline Chili is a fast food restaurant chain based out of Cincinnati, Ohio that serves a variety of chili dishes, including a 3-way, a 4-way, and a 5-way, cheese conies, chilitos, which are chili burritos, and other non-chili items. Skyline is a very polarizing chain in that people either really hate it,
Skyline Chili!
or they really love it.
Oh my gosh. Every time I go back to Cincinnati, I have to have Skyline.
And as for me, I like to be on the right side of history here. I love Skyline Chili. I grew up eating this shit.
You eat pieces of shit for breakfast?
No.
However, Skyline restaurants in Cleveland, where I live, no longer exists as of New Year's Eve 2023. So in order to do this project, I had to travel down to Columbus and Cincinnati for the week. Lucky for me, my girlfriend lives in Columbus, so I could stay with her. Not so lucky for her, she has to share a bathroom with me this week. But I met Kelsey at a location right outside of Columbus, and I was about to have my first of 21 meals. I ordered a regular 3-way, which means something completely different if you are in the state of Nevada. First bite in, and man, I was thinking, yeah, it's gonna be a good week.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good week.
For me, it's impossible to not love this place. Kelsey liked it, but she said it's something that she probably can only have like once a year.
Would you do this 20 more times?
No.
I guess some people don't have a thinking deficiency like I do. My goal is to see if I can lose weight, so I'm gonna walk 10 to 15 miles a day and also drink a gallon of water to help stuff kind of pass through my body. After my first meal, I got a chance to weigh myself. Remember this number at the end of the video. Next up for lunch, I went to a different location. One of the big perks at Skyline is they give you some of their oyster crackers and hot sauce, which is kind of like an appetizer before the meal comes if you're a degenerate like me. For this meal, I switched it up and got some cheese conies. These hot dogs are not nearly as big as the Costco hot dogs, and they're somehow more expensive, so I don't really know what I'm doing here. My strategy for this project was to get my first meal at around 11:30 or noon because I don't eat breakfast and I don't know how to function as an adult. Then my second meal at around 4 or 5 p.m. And my last meal, like the one I'm getting right now, somewhere between 8:30 and 9 p.m. The later I eat, in theory, the less hungry I will be before I go to bed. What's cool about Skyline as well is they have bibs. You thought you'd never wear a bib again after being a baby and shitting your pants all day. Well, guess what? You can do that here too. The wearing your bib part, not shitting your pants all day. Well, actually, my last meal of day 1 was a large 5-way chili dish, and I might be sick in the head, but there might be a small chance that I'm not sick of this at all this week. One of the things I noticed on the table was this ad for their chocolate tuxedo cheesecake. And since I didn't want my digestive system to resemble an oceanic volcanic eruption, I decided I would have some for my final meal at the end of the week. After day 1, I had about 3,500 calories and walked 13 miles. Also, if you want this shirt, I put chili in my spaghetti. Go to shop.suryacht.com and get it. Or don't. The next day, I woke up and played pickleball with my 2 creative partners, Bill and John. After working up a physical sweat, we decided to get some meat sweats going. Bill and John were actually concerned after having 1 Skyline Chili meal. Amateur hour. After tasting my first meal of the day for the second time, I went on the walk, and this was like the first time I really felt like I was going to blow up a toilet.
There's a storm brewing in my lower section right now.
I then went back to the same Skyline Chili. I had my first chilito of the week, which again is a chili burrito, and I opted in to add some spaghetti to it. It tasted phenomenal, and I was so excited for it, I accidentally rubbed hot sauce on my eyelids.
I think hot sauce got in there because I'm not washing my hands efficiently enough, apparently.
I went on a quick walk with Kelsey and then headed back to the same Skyline from the previous night for dinner.
I think my videos are just really bad ideas.
And I was starting to get even more nervous because I was like, there's no way I'm not going to get sick of this at some point. That time wasn't now. I had 3 cheese conies, and there's just nothing like having those juicy, gooey wieners shoved right into your mouth.
Hey, yo.
I left the restaurant with my total at 3,400 calories eaten on day 2, bringing my total to 6,900 so far. Nice. And my mile total was 27.3 miles. And that's when it hit me. I still have 5 more days left of this project, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it, to be honest with you. But fortunately for me, my brain is not fully developed, so I was super excited to get the Skyline Chili for day 3. However, today is Ash Wednesday, the first day of Lent, and I'm not supposed to eat meat today. So I know I said in my rules before that every dish that I have has to have chili in it, but for this day only, and Friday, I'm gonna take part in Skyline's vegetarian options, which substitutes chili for rice and beans. I had very little expectation for this to be good, and I was correct. inaccurate. It was actually very good. It was a lot less heavy than the chili dishes, and honestly, I think I might have liked it more. However, there is something that I have to confess to you guys that I didn't particularly enjoy at this time.
I have not taken a dump since I started this project.
In fact, it's been over 3 days since my last dump. I don't know what was going on. I mean, this is me we're talking about. My girlfriend once gave me a gift for my birthday that said world's #1 toilet destroyer. I have single-handedly systematically revamped the way engineers look at plumbing technology. How could I not take a shit? I went on a 5-mile walk to find any answers I could, and that's when it hit me. No, like, not an idea, the digestion.
I have to take a shit.
I went into a local business and used their bathroom, and now I was back to my old toilet destroying ways. I went back to Skyline to have some more vegetarian stuff for lunch, and it was just as good as the previous time. I was already looking forward to dinner. However, there was one wrinkle in that thought process. Not only was today Ash Wednesday, today was also Valentine's Day. And God bless my girlfriend, because she agreed to spend her Valentine's Day dinner with me at Skyline Chili. Before we went, I watched Kelsey drink a beer at a local brewery since I can't have anything else. When you can't have something, you almost want it even more. Also, here's a janky time lapse I recorded because I've been watching a lot of Casey Neistat videos recently. I made Kelsey film me a dinner, and hey, don't feel too bad for her. She got to spend her Valentine's Day watching greatness unfold in front of her.
Happy Valentine's Day, babe.
After day 3, my mile total was 39.7 miles, and I actually had more calories going vegetarian than before, bringing the 3-day total up to 11,250 calories, which made me think about how Michael Phelps used to eat 10,000 calories a day when he was swimming, and I was like, oh, that's actually not that bad. But then I remembered, I'm not a 23-time Olympic gold medalist. Day 4 came around, and I was able to shove some meat back into my mouth again.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
I've eaten so much food at this point, but on average, I've been walking a little over 12 miles a day, so I felt good about that.
I'm also very curious to see if I've lost weight during this project. If I have lost weight, I think I might have cracked the code. If not, back to the drawing board.
I dropped Kelsey off at the airport and forgot to film it because I'm an idiot. She said it was to go on a girls trip to Napa, but secretly I think it was because she wanted to avoid the big smelly chili guy. I then got some Skyline right by the airport. After having another Skyline meal, I thought to myself, there's no way I don't gain weight from this. For some reason today, I was not able to go to the bathroom, and finally I caved. I got laxatives right across the way from Skyline. This was incredibly unusual because Skyline is typically the best laxative out there.
Okay, make me sh.
My body is definitely gonna be used for science one day. I went on a 6-mile run before going to a different Skyline location because one of my followers named Bobby worked there and offered me free Skyline, and I don't remember the last time I've ever turned down a free meal. However, after being there for a half hour and even paying my bill, I realized
I went to the wrong Skyline.
so I went to the Skyline 15 minutes down the street and said hello to Bobby and the squad. I may not have gotten a free meal, but I did learn an important lesson on typing the correct address into a GPS. With a couple hours left in the day, I thought about going to bed, but I looked at my watch and I had 16 miles on it. And I was like, man, I love round numbers. Let's get to 20. I walked along the Scioto River in downtown Columbus where I absorbed the beautiful skyline. And that's when the worst thing that could have happened. There was some other Skyline I did not absorb. The one that I ate. And that's because halfway through my 4-mile walk, the laxatives I had earlier in the day finally kicked in.
I've turned the camera off and I'm gonna go literally take a dump, like right by the river over here. Hopefully I don't get arrested.
A few minutes later.
If anybody goes to the river under this like bridge in Columbus, give it like 2 to 3 days. The laxatives may have been a bad choice. Okay, I got 20 miles. Don't ask any questions. The fewer questions you ask, the better this video will be. I'm gonna go home and take care of what I need to take care of.
3 things you don't do. You never ask a woman her age, you never ask a man his salary, and you never ask Sir Yacht what happened on the Scioto River in downtown Columbus on February 15th at 10:53 p.m. After day 4, my mile total was 59.9 miles, and I had my most calories in a day so far, bringing my 4-day total to 16,020 calories, which is a lot more than the 10,000 total calories you're recommended to have in 4 days as a man. The morning of day 5, Fox 19 in Cincinnati got wind of my Skyline Chili Challenge, where I decided to surprise them and drink out of a can right then and there.
I didn't have too much time this morning to go and go get a meal at Skyline, so I thought, why not bring the meal here and start off my first meal live on Fox 19, so.
Oh, God, chug. What you should, no, I won't make you say anymore. Sir Yacht, we appreciate you. Godspeed, sir, Godspeed. All right, Ethan, that was quite incredible.
That was amazing.
Okay, let's
Let's go start the day. I then had my first meal of the day, which was just a chilito and water, because I'm not trying to reenact the carnage that happened at the river last night. Since I had a very busy morning, I started eating at 1 p.m., which was pretty late. So I went back to Kelsey's place and took an eating break before going back to that same place and having lunch. And at this point, I'd forgotten it was Friday, which means I'm not supposed to have meat again. But I already had a chilito and raw chili on live TV, so I decided I'll be a good boy for half the day. It really is not a sacrifice, though. The vegetarian options at Skyline are so good. I then hustled back to the house because I had no exercise today, and I wanted to get a run in before heading down to Cincinnati for the weekend. Oh, yeah, by the way, I'm heading down to Cincinnati for the weekend. The headquarters for Skyline Chili. I ended up just going for a long walk because I had a bunch of stomach cramps and couldn't run. However, I realized there was a huge snowstorm coming and decided to cut the walk short. And unfortunately, I made the decision to drive a little too late and turned a 90-minute drive into a 2.5-hour drive. However, I took my time driving down the highway and finally got to the Skyline Chili near the place I was staying at and devoured a large 5-way like I was Tristan Thompson. It's a very niche joke, so let me know if you got it. Through 5 days, my total calories consumed was 20,470, and I didn't walk a lot, so my mile total was 63.1. This is the same house I stayed in when I was in Cincinnati for a little bit during my Costco hot dog project. So shout out to Fishers and Ralphie for having me again, and I extremely apologize for whatever happened in the basement bathroom. The next morning, I woke up and, you guessed it, I had diarrhea. But then I had Skyline. I went back to take a break from eating to pet Ralphie, and my dad's fraternity brother Joe, who I'm staying with, was nice enough to give me some Pepto, which if you were to run my blood work at this point, it'd probably be 50% Pepto and 50% chili. I worked off some of the chili on a walk in the cold and then went to a different Skyline down the street for lunch. I had another 3-way chili dish, and that's when I started to get sick of the disrespect to Skyline Chili. This shit is so good, and honestly, I might have a problem. After a sunset walk and a quick Ralphie pet sesh, I was making the trip down to the oldest standing Skyline Chili in America, in the Cincinnati neighborhood of Clifton. This is the place where boys become men, where losers become champions, where intoxicated students at the University of Cincinnati go after a late night of binge drinking to eat some Skyline Chili and then throw open a shoe in an Uber to avoid the $200 surcharge. I was finally here at the greatest Skyline Chili of them all. I got a large 5-way dish, put my bib on, and erased that plate off the face of the fucking earth. It was at this point I had felt a blessing from God. He was giving me and the local plumber economy the power to get through this very difficult week.
3 more meals until I've eaten Skyline Chili for a week, baby. Let's go.
After 6 days, my mile total was 71.9 and my total calories were 25,570. Guess what that means? It's day 7, you beautiful sons of bitches. And I decided to get wild and cross the border of Ohio. As I ate my chili, I repped the gear from the local baseball team, the Florence Yalls, whose team and mascot are named after the city's water tower. I drove back into Ohio with only 2 meals left to consume before being done with this completely unnecessary project for good. And I couldn't help but think about how much I had grown from it. Like girth-wise, not mentally. I gave Ralphie a super big pet before meeting my friend, the Bangalorean, and he showed off his 6 Skyline Chili bomber jacket. I went on one final run, took a shot of Pepto-Bismol, and now there was only one thing left to do. Dress up for the chili funeral.
I am about to some chili up and then probably not eat it for a while. Or just like a week.
The Fishers were nice enough to join me on my final meal of the Skyline Chili project, where I learned from Joe that my dad absolutely ravaged Skyline Chili in college at Miami of Ohio. So not only did I love doing this, I was born to do this. I inhaled my 5-way chili dish and officially had eaten nothing but Skyline Chili for a week. So to celebrate, you know I had to get that chocolate tuxedo cheesecake, baby. And oh my goodness, did that thing cake has sex. That is a sex cake. And now here are the stats from the week of eating nothing but Skyline Chili. In total, I had consumed 21 Skyline Chili meals with an estimated total of 30,450 calories. Nearly double of what a healthy man is supposed to have in a week. On top of that, my run and walk mile total was approximately 84 miles. So the moment of truth, did I gain weight or did I lose weight? I hopped on the scale, waited for it to load, and saw I had lost 3.1 pounds this week. Please talk to a doctor before doing it. And also, as always, please do not try this at home. I am a professional dumbass.
I know what I like, baby.